Hello everyone, this is Kalyan from Parivartana AS. So after a huge time, I finally decided to make some videos on how to read newspaper for beginners because now the prelims is over. A lot of new aspirants might be starting their preparation for 2023. So I want to just share what I know regarding newspaper reading and how to read newspapers. This is not a DNA class. This is more like a newspaper scan. Again, as I said, it's just an experiment on how to reach a good number of youngsters so that they don't waste a lot of time reading newspapers, because the common complaint is, sir, I spent 4 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours on newspaper reading. Am I reading the right articles? Should I make notes? There is a lot of confusion among aspirants. So through these series of videos, I would try to reduce all your fears and give you some perspective on newspaper reading. Again, please remember, this is not a DNA class, nor I have any plans for that. uh, it's more about how to read newspapers with a fresh perspective. Now, the first thing you need to do before reading newspapers is have a good amount of idea on UPSC syllabus. You need to know mains syllabus, GS paper 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, last 15 years prelims previous year questions should be in your mind. Along with that, last 7 to 8 years of mains questions should also be known to you. If you know them, then your newspaper reading will be even better. Second thing is, for a fresher, it will take 3 to 4 hours of reading newspaper. The most obvious reason is he does not know the definition of CDS or inflation. There are a lot of static gaps. So if he or she tries to read a newspaper without knowing what is GST Council, then she will never understand today's editorial. So it's not your fault if you're not understanding it. And the problem with newspaper analysis per se is, unless you also put some effort, it doesn't make you like complete. You have to read, then you have to watch them. That is the complete cycle. So reading newspaper is a must for every aspirant. As you have seen, this year prelims paper will also become very easy if you read newspapers on a regular basis. So without much further ado, we will try to uh, see today's Hindu and Indian Express and see some interesting articles. I will just mention the article and how or where you can use it, and we will move on. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, Tamil Nadu tops in food safety index. You can read this article. Especially anything and everything done by Food Safety Standards Authority of India becomes important. So do read that article. You can use that in a lot of places, especially malnourishment, etc. You can use that. Now, government reaches out to all OIC members. This article is important in the present context on how India, the political parties in India are affecting the international relations, or the stand of certain members in the political parties are affecting the international relations, and what India is doing, right? Next, you can happily skip most of the other articles, no need to waste your time, right? Then there is this article which talks about landfilling and the contamination of groundwater. So this is very useful for your solid waste management. So please do read articles like this. They will be helpful in your prelims. Next, again, as I mentioned, I will directly outrightly skip everything in the newspapers. I won't even bother about them. Yeah, this article, you will understand better. See, this is called as lead article, the right side one, the weight of the GST Council, whereas the left side small two articles are called as editorials. And the difference between editorial and opinion is the stand of the individual, whereas editorial is the stand of the newspaper, which will be based on facts and data, whereas opinion can be subjective. Sometimes opinions will also be based on empirical data, but again it is subjected to interpretation. Now, if you are a beginner, the things you need to know before understanding this article is, what is GST, what is federalism, what is cooperative federalism, what is fiscal federalism. So if you can understand all these terms, if you know these terms exist, then this article will be very easy for you. Or else, just remember one point: in GS paper 3, there is a topic where fiscal federalism or fiscal relation between union and state governments is under strain. In that place, you can use the data from this particular article. So most of the things are static, like GST Council. You can find it in any economic textbook. So I encourage you to read the basics. Don't worry about the shelf life of this article. It's not having a lot of weightage in the long run. Whereas Chancellor conundrum. This article is about relation between governor and the chief minister, which can again be used in GS paper 2. If you read your Lakshmikant, you will know what are the powers of governor, what are the powers of chief ministers. And in mains, questions like, is the role of governor still relevant in Indian democracy? Should we remove the role of governors? What are the problems with the governors? What did Punchi Commission say? What did Sarkaria Commission say? So it's a holistic mains answer that you can prepare in relation to the role of the governor. Okay. Next, the global growth. You can link it to the economy section, today's economy section, where World Bank have reduced the India's forecast, right? So how does the integration of global economy and Indian economy play, and how will it help the overall economy? So it's a decent article. I encourage you to read it. You can skip the Boris Johnson article, not at all useful. Copyright infringement is useful mostly for prelims perspective. In prelims, there will be questions like what are the various types of intellectual property rights. So this article will give you a good amount of idea. Decoding China's occupation, yes, suggested GS paper 2 IR. It will give you a good idea on what are the international provisions on where India and China can discuss, right? What is the legal stand that India can take? Social engineering or caste engineering is something that is advanced for a beginner. You will read it sooner than later in society or during election times, but not needed for you at this particular point. Next, mounting e-derbies. So e-waste is a huge problem. E-waste management rules is very important for both prelims and mains. So just remember what is e-waste, what are the chemicals that are coming out of e-waste, and how does it affect everyone, what are the components. This chart is very important for your prelims perspective. So from now on, whenever you see such charts, please make sure you read them. Okay, and what are the steps taken by Indian government to reduce e-waste? That is also very important. Now I think this explainer section is only available in Delhi edition of Hindu. I am not aware of other editions. So this article, as a beginner, you can appreciate it only when you know what is a bad bank. What is non-performing asset. So first of all, you need to know what is a non-performing asset. That basic you should know. If you know what is a non-performing asset, then you will know how bad bank is a solution to non-performing assets. Purely mains stuff at this point. It's an advanced thing. If you don't even know what is inflation, you haven't even read NCRTs or any basic stuff, this article is like total bouncer for you. You can save it for the long run. Very worthy article, but not immediately understandable. Russia-Ukraine war, you can skip it. Catch 22 is just an idiom for you, basically. It's a good book if you are into reading. Now, Al-Qaeda threatens to strike in India. So this is more about internal security, GS paper 3, like how will Al-Qaeda use lone wolf attacks or radicalize people, right? Or sleeper cells. All these are a threat. Even they are using drones to send weapons across the border. So we cannot, we can use these articles in GS paper 3 internal security. What are the various kinds of threats to India, right? And in 2022 prelims paper, you have seen in UPSC has given 3 institution names and is India member of these institutions. So nuclear supplier group is one such institution where India is still not a member. So I encourage you to read such articles. Okay, girl killed for intercaste relationship. So in GS paper 1 society, you can use such articles. India is moving towards Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of our constitution and its celebration. At the same time, still we see people killing each other in the name of religion, caste, other things. So such articles will be helpful in essay and society. The other articles are not so useful. So yeah, CDS post, Chief of the Defense Staff, it's a very important article for both, especially for internal security, understanding what is the role of CDS, what is integrated theater command. In both prelims and mains, such kind of articles are useful. Just keep an eye on what is CDS. As a beginner, you need to know who is chief of defense staff. And sometimes newspaper reading will give you vocabulary. For example, hybrid militants, again very good term to use in your internal security. What are hybrid militants? What is hybrid terrorism? How Terrorism is no longer about guns and bombs, it is also about perception management. Why the fear, why they don't want the Kashmir to be happy or peaceful, why now, what is happening, so you should keep an eye. Okay, next we can skip a lot of articles. And sometimes in newspapers you'll find wonderful articles in relation to governance. There is no single one authoritative book on governance like Lakshmikant for polity. Governance is unfortunately does not have a good book. The best thing is newspapers. Here the article talks about differently abled and why the Central Advisory Board on Disability is very important. Right, so such articles are very good value addition for your GS paper too. So please do read this article, Social Security. Okay, while one small article here in the corner is about Kuno Palpur, which is about cheetah relocation. In prelims mocks, you will see this time and again. So remember, focus every corner of the newspapers. Okay, next, Amit Shah Lord's Planning Commission. So generally speaking, now Planning Commission has been replaced with Niti Aayog. Now the thing is planning, has Planning Commission helped India? That can be a main question. What are the good things that Planning Commissions have achieved, or what is the performance of Niti Aayog? What is the performance of Planning Commission? What are the criticisms? How we can make the governance even better? What is the difference between Planning Commission and Niti Aayog? All these are very basic details. You should know them. You can find any basic details in Ramesh Singh as well. Okay. And one small thing is Russia claims partial control. The Russia-Ukraine war is happening from last 100 days or 100 plus days. It's an ongoing thing. Just read the article, understand what is happening, and don't make any notes, because such if the war ends, whatever the notes you have made will be thrown out. So don't waste your time. Hong Kong not to become a police state. First of all, what is a police state? How can we use that in GS paper 2, GS paper 3, GS paper 4? Like ethically speaking, is a surveillance state a good thing? What about privacy, which can be discussed both in ethics and GS paper 2, that is polity. How is it related to Puttaswamy versus Union of India case, right? And is India becoming a surveillance state? Do we have a huge number of CCTV cameras in our urban places like Hyderabad, Delhi, one of the most surveilled cities in the world, right? So what is the purpose of a police state? Is it a good thing, bad thing? That's a very nice discussion to have with your peers or your seniors. Next, the IMF article in GS paper, the prelims paper, is directly linked to Sri Lanka. Yeah, so as a neighbor, for IR purposes, also you should know what is happening to Sri Lanka, how will it affect the relations, why Sri Lanka is in this particular position, why did India survive while most of our neighbors are having problems, are our economic fundamentals very strong? These are the good questions that you can think of while reading this particular article. Okay. World Bank has reduced our forecast. Not a very good article in the long run, but you should know whenever the forecast is very good, it will attract a lot of foreign direct investment. So is India going to suffer some setbacks? What can we do to revive our GDP growth? Okay. Yeah. Again, if I miss one or two articles, I'm pretty sure they will be like circular. Current affairs is circular. That means it will always keep coming back again and again. They won't go away. Now going to going from Hindu to Indian Express. So the Indian Express have made sure that the CDS article is in the first place. That's a good thing. Second thing, coach threatened me, said he wants me as a wife cyclist complaint to Sports Authority of India. This you can use it as a sexual harassment article in ethics case studies, right? So on the one hand, we want more medals from sports, but at the same time, infrastructure, sexual harassment, all these things also have to be taken care of. So please focus on such articles. Okay. Yeah. One more wonderful article in Indian Express. So this article is about environmental performance index. So this is also a very nice article to read. So what is environmental performance index? Growth versus environment debate. There you can use the various parameters. Okay. So this is called as fodder material. You can depend on current affairs magazines, but if you read them in the newspapers and then read the magazines, it will be like a second revision for you. Okay, and this is also a wonderful article for governance. In a first, Orissa High Court assesses itself on performance, lists challenges. So a high court is assessing itself based on its performance, which is a very good way to promote accountability and transparency. You can use it in ethics, you can use it in GS paper too, right? So do make sure you read this article. Okay, and yeah, cheetah article I have mentioned, right? In the Hindu also the same article is covered. Al Qaeda article is also covered here. Okay. The next one is the editorial section. A lot of editorial, and there are not many good articles in Indian Express today. So this is a wonderful article. No incentive to perform. This article can be used in GS paper 2, governance, again administration, and in ethics also. Why we need to promote and protect the honest officers? What is the motivation for a honest officers? So in a world where everybody feels everybody is corrupted, what is your motivation to be honest? Okay, so if the system is not promoting the honest officers, why will a honest officer remain honest? Okay, ethics, integrity, and all these things are keywords for your GS paper 4. But in the grassroots level, what is your motivation? In that perspective, I encourage you to read this wonderful article. Okay, right. So the rest of the articles are subjective. Okay, again, this article can be used in your essay and ethics paper. What about conversation and compassion, right? So this is also a good thing. And the last one is in Indian Express. There is a section called as Explain, very popular section for UPSC aspirants. Here they are talking about election of Rajya Sabha members. You can read this in your Lakshmikant also. Don't need to waste too much time in reading this kind of articles. That's it. So I hope you get a rough idea on how to read or which articles to read. Why I have skipped so many other articles. You can, if you are confused, you can let me know in the comment section. I will be happy to answer them. Again, as I said, newspaper reading is an art that you develop over time. When we started newspaper reading also, we spent too much time, but slowly it will come down. There will be a day where you will read both Hindu and Indian Express in less than an hour. Sounds impossible, but that is very much doable. A lot of seniors will do that. A lot of people who are in service can do that, right? So once your static knowledge increases, once your accumulated knowledge increases, you will read newspapers in a very quick fashion. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding newspapers, I'm always happy to help. Feel free to use the comment section, right? And do comment on the quality of the video, the audio. Constructive criticism is always welcome, and there will always be some people who wants to just comment randomly. They are also welcome, right? And thank you for taking your time. See you in the next one. All the best.